What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm also going to talk about Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and the QQQ, and a couple of tickers out there, and break down why it's very probable for the market to see some downside very, very soon. Now, I'm not saying the market's going to tank insanely hard, but I do believe the market is going to start pulling back from here or very, very soon. I'm going to break down exactly why that is and some very important things to look out for today. But before breaking anything down all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And then don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks plus a $50 cash reward. The offer ends in just 7 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so what's going on with the market? Why am I talking about how there could be some potential downside coming very soon? That's because of what we're seeing so far. I'm going to talk about the technicals in just a few minutes. First off, looking at this, Nvda absolutely killed it with their earnings. Very, very awesome job by them. And they're gapping up quite nicely thanks to this. However, one thing you have to remember is that there's going to be a lot of profit taking today from all of this that happened. And you can't forget that tomorrow is going to be the big day in the morning when Jay Powell is going to be speaking. Jerome Powell is going to be giving his big speech. So a lot of these people who made all this money off Nvidia, are they really going to just hold everything overnight going into Jerome Powell's speech? Do you really think so? I don't think so, guys. I think a lot of people are going to be taking profits, and this is going to affect the whole market, starting with Nvidia, not to mention others out there as well. And then on top of this, when it comes to things to know about the market before we open, there's a big boost in the chip sales, which is going to be projected for the next upcoming year in the next quarter, which is good for Nvidia and other stocks out there. Nvidia keeps soaring, which is great. It's making all the headlines still. We saw some things involving politics that are going on, and that's pretty much it. We're actually seeing some new products from Starbucks. Not sure why this is making the headline, but it's worth noting. So there's some improvements here. Going forward, I just wanted to add that looking at some economic data, we just had initial jobless claims that came out a little bit lower than expected, but nothing too crazy, at about 230,000 versus 240,000. The market has been just kind of chopping with this coming out so far. And then the jobless claims for the 4-week average was very close to expectations, a little bit higher than that. So not too bad whatsoever. Pretty decent data for now. Now we have the Jackson Hole symposium today. We may see some Fed speakers later on today. I think a little bit after the market opens, maybe 30 minutes after open. So with some Fed speakers essentially coming out and all of these things going on, we might see this play a role in causing the market to pull back just a little bit. So I'm going to break this down for you all. This is going to be important. So I just want to mention that on SPY, we have a head and shoulders already forming from looking at the after hours yesterday going into the pre-market. So it's looking bearish to me. It looks like this thing is going to come down to this imbalance, and we could see some downside. Now, we might get a little pop. It might get a tiny little pop when we open, but you have to remember that we're very close to the 446 level, and we just shot past 444 like it was nothing. So it's not looking that great. And if this head and shoulders is designed, to cause this rug pull, right, we're going to see this market start sinking. It could happen as soon as we open, or maybe we get a little pop for the liquidity grab, and then we start coming down. Because what they could do is try to pop it a little bit so they could get better prices to start shorting at. And if anything, guys, the bottom line is maybe there's a tiny pop or not. If anything, the bigger move is going to be the drop. This is looking very bearish to me. And when you look at the RSI and our MACD, the MACD is already crossing on the 3 minutes, but on the RSI, we're forming a bearish divergence right now, right? You can see the price was making this high right here, whereas the RSI has been just continuing to decline. And I think the same thing happened on the 4-hour time frame. Let me just double check this. Actually, I'm not really seeing it on the 4-hour, but I'm seeing it on the 3 minutes time frame, the 30 minutes, and also on the 1 hour. I think the 1 hour is showing this as well. The 1 hour is about to get a bearish cross as well. We also have a bearish divergence on the 1 hour. So it's all pointing the same direction. Market could pop a little bit, try to hold these levels for a bit, but eventually we're going to see the market start slowing down a bit and start sinking. For this trigger, watch 444. If we break below that, we're going to come all the way down to 442 most likely. If that breaks, we're going to likely see the market sink even lower, all the way down to like this support line right here, which could be in the 441s depending on where we are. If that breaks, then 440 is going to come, 437.5, and the list goes on. There may be tighter ranges like 439, for every dollar or even 50 cents, but I just want to make it clear, the bottom line is it looks more bearish. It looks like the market is getting ready to start slowing down. It's kind of like building structure and going too high too fast without getting a strong foundation. Sometimes that happens, and we just kind of like soared past too much resistance without getting much of a pullback. So this 444 level, right? We soared past so much resistance. We need to retest this, in my opinion. That was a very, very strong resistance, and it's going to likely come back down. For the QQQ, same thing is going on. Like I told you guys before, Nvda is going to likely get some profit taking, and then I just want to look at this on on my Weeble chart too, because I have some different technicals on here that are very important. Just to double check, I think we have a bearish divergence. Let me just check this one more time. I think there's a bearish divergence. Yes, there is technically a bearish divergence that's forming. Uh, we could see this thing just start sinking as soon as we open, or we could get like another pop. I kind of drew this out from yesterday. If anything, we may not even get a pop back up though, so it might not actually happen like that. We could see this thing do something similar, like either it gets a little pop like this and then just starts sinking, and it might just start coming back down to 370. I'm going to be watching 370 very carefully on the triple Q. And also there's this imbalance right here. See this imbalance right here around this 369 level? I'm going to be watching that as well and see how that ends up holding. So if 370 breaks, 368 to 369 could be tested. So it looks more bearish, right? That's the bottom line. And then why is this looking more bearish? Well, it's because it's going to be dictated by, many of these other tickers out there, like Nvda. Nvda, it's awesome, great earnings. I'm proud of them, but it jumped so hard, so fast. Might be a little pop when we open, but it's going to likely start sinking a bit. I think it's going to start to come back down to 500 and tested. If it breaks below 500, we're going to watch it come down to 495, 490, and maybe even like 480 eventually over the next like 2 days because of profit taking. People are going to be taking their profits. People made money off their options, most likely. A lot of people did. Hopefully they did if it wasn't for like Ivy Crush. But the bottom line is there's going to be profit taking. People are going to be selling. They do not want to be holding all of their options and etc. through Jerome Powell's speech, which is going to be tomorrow in the morning, right? So we might see this thing start dropping a little bit, a little pop then drop most likely, which is going to end up dictating the market. Looking at Apple stock, Aapl, same thing on Aapl. This is looking like a potential head and shoulders that could be developing on it. And then I just want to check the RSI just one more time, just to be as safe as possible. I keep it on this chart because there are also other indicators I look at. Uh, this is looking like on the 30-minute, the MACD is once again looking more bearish, so is the RSI. I also don't want to make this chart look too cluttered because if I have like a MACD here and like an RSI, it's going to look too crazy. That's why I kind of switch back and forth. But it's basically a bearish divergence on Aapl. Apple's looking like it's going to start sinking too. We're going to be watching support at 180. Once this breaks, 179.9 is going to be tested. If that breaks, you're going to be watching this thing come down to 178.5. That's the previous support becoming, previous resistance becoming support. And then below 178.5, we have this imbalance, 177.5, this gap down here at 177. Remember, I was talking about these gaps on Aapl yesterday. So I was expecting this thing to like pop and drop. That is exactly what happened. It popped during the pre-market all the way up to almost 183. That was our target. Now it's coming down. So watch for this thing to start sinking. And then besides that, for a couple of other stocks out there, we have the same looking setups. Let's see Tesla. How's Tesla looking? Let me just double check. Tesla's also looking kind of bearish. Our RSI is showing a potential bearish divergence as well. We're about to get a bearish cross in the PPO. If Tesla breaks below, we're currently at, let me just double check. We're at 239. If we break below 238, I expect this thing to come all the way down to like 235 or so. If that fails, it's just 232, and then potentially even like 228 below that if we break below 230. So it looks like it's going to start sinking. The same trend is going to be followed within the market. The whole market may be following the same trend approaching Jerome Powell's speech and the Fed speakers. Looking at Microsoft, we're holding above 333, but we could start dropping to about 329. So just be very careful. We have this imbalance at about like 326 as well. So if we break below 328, watch 326. And then for a couple of other tickers, it's basically the same thing. Coinbase, same thing on Coinbase. If we break below 78, you're going to be watching 77.1. If that breaks, 75 is going to be next. And then below that, we have this imbalance at 74. And the list goes on. Let me just check the dollar. The dollar is pumping a little bit. If the dollar keeps going, it depends on if it can get above 104 or not, at least test it. This may have a negative effect on the market. The dollar is looking a little strong this morning, so we'll see if the dollar keeps going. We have this imbalance up here around this like almost 104 level, so that could be a negative effect on the market. Amazon, Amazon's looking a little more bearish. If anything, I think it's going to test the 20 EMA if it breaks below 136.85. Watch it come down to like the very low 136s. 135.5 could come next, and then these lower levels like 133. First off, I think it may break below 136.85 and then come down to like 136 flat. That could be a bearish signal. Same thing with Meta. Same thing with Meta. If it breaks below 290, what is this? 290. 298 is that? I think it's 298.94. If that breaks, we break below 299 basically. Watch it come all the way down to 295 and below that 293. In my opinion, it looks more bearish. It's looking like weaker. So this whole trend is just throughout the entire market, right? The market on a similar algorithm. So it looks like some stocks could kind of like pop a little bit, then drop, or they just start dropping from here. Market looks like it's getting ready for Jerome Powell. There's going to be some profit taking beforehand, and just be ready, anticipate some downside, and do what you have to do. All right. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you guys later on for the next video. Thank you, and peace out.